I know before we go to a breakdown, you wanted to address something Scottie said that he felt it was silly, the format. What'd you make of that?
Well, just look, he finished 6th last year in the FedEx Cup, and I'm sure that wore on him just a little bit. But the FedEx Cup, I would argue, has a pretty good record of divining out who has played the best golf over the course of the year. Of course, there are years when you look at it and you think, okay, is the FedEx Cup champion the player of the year? You would in no way say Victor Hovland last year played better golf than Scottie Scheffler. And yet, Victor Hovland won the FedEx Cup, and Scottie Scheffler finished 6th. You would in no way say that Billy Horschel in 2014 had a better year than Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy won 2 major championships that year. He was #1 player in the world. But Billy Horschel just played better in the playoffs. In no way would you say that Bill Haas in 2011 played better golf than Luke Donald in 2011. But Bill Haas just had a better, look, it's just another way of enticing the best players to play with intensity at the end of the year. There are loads of ways to judge who was the best player of the year. Number of wins, number of major championships, number of top 10, scoring average, Varden Trophy, all that, of course. But the FedEx Cup is just yet another way for the best players in the world to come together and play with some intensity.
Yeah, and the idea that you would compare it, say, to the Giants years ago, coming in, I believe, as a wild card and beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl, who went unbeaten in the regular season, probably doesn't hold up as well because, with all due respect, I do think this is better than it was. It's not the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl in professional golf is what?
Well, look,
it would be likely the Masters or the Open.
I would argue there is no Super Bowl in golf.
There you go.
There are 8 Super Bowls if you want to. You could say there's 4. There's the major championships, but I would throw the players in there as well. And look, for all realistic purposes, you get the best players of the world playing with great intensity, and I would look at what gives the best players in the world pause. And I would say the FedEx Cup. And like everybody's going to say you're drinking the Kool-Aid. It's like no. I'm looking at the leaders of the FedEx Cup who've come in here, and only one time, going back to 2007, has the leader of the FedEx Cup ever shot the lowest score at the Tour Championship.
You saying money?
That was Tiger Woods. So
you saying money?
Look, as much as people listen, as much as people want to say that it's not about money, they say that after they've got all the money in the world. Okay, money gets everybody's attention. So does fame. So does the allure of major championships, so do records, but money is why athletes play sport.
Is that enough of a reason for fans to continue to watch? I'll give you the hypothetical. If Scottie opens up a 10-shot lead after today, is it enough to get people to tune in that the race for second place is worth $12.5 million? Or are they going to be sitting in a boardroom looking for a new format for the FedEx Cup?
Look, I've made this point a million times. Go back and watch Belmont in 1973, and you tell me at what point that became boring. Secretariat won by 32 lengths. Go back and watch the U.S. Open.
People want drama, Brandel.
Of course they want it, but what, you don't appreciate?
I do. Look, I love golf.
The genius of somebody separating themselves. The thing that's amazing about golf, and this is unlike other sports, when you start trying to make it analogous to other sports, look, in other sports, there's a 20, 30, 40% difference between the best, the average, and the worst. There's a 20, 30, 40% difference. Okay, there's a huge difference between the best batter in baseball, the average batter in baseball, and the worst batter in baseball. There's a huge difference between the best passer in football, the average passer in football, and the worst passer in football. The difference between the best golfer on the PGA Tour and the average golfer on the PGA Tour is 3%. The difference between the best player on the PGA Tour and the worst golfer on the PGA Tour is 7%. There is no finer line between success and brilliance. So when you see someone win by 15 shots, what you're seeing there is something extraordinary. And we watch sport to be blown away.
Yes.
And so when someone wins by 15 shots and you want to say it's a snooze fest, you lost me on that one. I'm all in. I'm leaning in. When somebody can separate themselves by 15 shots, yes, of course, Scottie Scheffler started this week with an advantage, of course. But over the course of the year, and you look at his world rank difference between where he's at and where Xander Schauffele is, the only person that managed to do that, the only person that had that big a difference was Tiger Woods. So that's what we're at right now with Scottie Scheffler.
The majority of people don't want to see a 4-game sweep. They want to see Game 7. They want to see it go down to the final 10 seconds with a tie ball game.
Sure. Then get Netflix and tune in because the things are scripted so that it comes down to the end. But sport isn't like that. Every now and then someone comes along who is so demonstrably better than everybody else. Maybe it doesn't tie into you leaning in and going, this is a close match.
But this is still entertainment, Brandel. This is an entertainment product.
Don't you want to see the best show of all time? How much better was
talking to me? I love
How much better was Breaking Bad than any other show on TV? How much better was it? And you watch. It wasn't close.
I love Peaky Blinders.
And everybody watched Breaking Bad because it was miles better. So Scottie Scheffler is Breaking Bad. Tiger Woods is Breaking Bad. Nobody was going to miss Breaking Bad. But the thing is that you could watch it at your convenience. You don't get to watch this at your convenience. You've got to watch.
Would you concede if it is a runaway, there will be calls to take a closer look?
Look, this is not the.
I try to come up with another.
This is not going to be the
Sunday drama.
Yes, but this is not going to be the final iteration of the FedEx Cup.
You don't think
There'll
so?
be another one. There'll be another one. I don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be another one, and it will be better than this one. But in the end, you still have got the best players in the world coming to compete. And yes, should there be another iteration of this? I think there should be, and there will be.
Any ideas, by the way?
Well, look, it'll have some format of match play. They'll have to figure out a way to get everybody here to compete in a medal play scenario, because you just don't want 2 players out there in match play. You don't even want 4 players out there. You want all the best players here playing, but in some capacity there'll be a match play element to this. I have no doubt.
And I would counter, and again, accuse me of drinking the Kool-Aid, go ahead, but I would say there have been some really memorable playoff events. Don't you think? I mean, right here,
there's been scores
right here at East Lake, Tiger obviously in 2018, though he didn't win the FedEx Cup title, he won the Tour Championship. They made the change the following year. But McIlroy in 2019 and 2022 is exciting. I think the Cantlay 6-hole playoff with DeChambeau at the BMW at Caves Valley was absolutely epic. I think what Hovland did in Chicago last year at the BMW was off the charts. It would be unfair to say we haven't had any playoff drama.
I'm not saying that. You go back, look, 2007 to now, the FedEx Cup. You go back and watch the end of the year, 1990 to 2006. Yeah. I always joke that it was like a Luther Vandross song. It never ended. It just kept going on. It felt like the year just kept going on and on and on. Long after the major championships were going on, there was no punch to the end of the year. And I did, eons ago, go back and compare the ratings to the end of the year, say 1990 to 2006 to 2007 to whenever it was that I compared them. And the ratings were far more up for the playoffs and the Tour Championship than they were previous to the end of the year. So they've done everything they were meant to do. Add a punch to the end of the year, bring the best players in the world together, playing together, competing at a high level. But there's going to be another iteration of this. There has to be, because, look, the idea that somebody shows up here, shoots the lowest score, and perhaps doesn't win is tough to settle with. But let's not get too granular about it, and let's just appreciate that the best players are here, playing at, I would argue, the most hollowed ground in all of American golf.
I'm with you. I don't have much else to do the next few days but watch some golf with you. And it's a heck of a job at that.